What's up guys, it's Zane. Today I wanted to bring you the first episode in my new Beginner's Guide to the Elder Scrolls series. This series will be covering everything there is to know about the Elder Scrolls Online, from just starting out to completing in-game trials. In today's episode we will be discussing character creation and how to select the best race and class for the build that you want to do. Starting off, you have to decide what do you want to do. Group PvE, solo PvE, questing. If you're not big into dungeons, group PvP, solo PvP, etc. There are so many ways to play the game, and thus there are so many builds. There's really so much you can do, and you really can't limit yourself. It is a bit overwhelming at first, but it honestly doesn't matter. If you want to be a Khajiit, Stamina Vampire Templar, you can do it. Will it be the most optimized build? No. But this is a game. Do what you want and have fun. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into individual races and what their specialties are. First off, races are split into 3 alliances. The only thing this really affects is in-game PvP, since the one Tamriel update allows you to play in whatever alliance you want for early game PvE. So that might not be a big deal to you, but if you don't care about PvP, but if you want to PvP and your friends are in a certain alliance, that might be something worth thinking about. Otherwise, there are strong PvP guilds in every alliance you can join and have tons of fun. In the end, it comes down to personal preference, and you can always switch it up with another character if you feel like. Also understand, the only thing that your race affects are a few passive skills, so that while it might not be optimal to run a certain race for a certain build, it's not the end of the world. I should also mention you can buy the Any Race Any Alliance pack, which allows you to play whatever race you want in any alliance for PvP. However, once a character has been created, their alliance cannot change, so you would need to have bought the pack before creating that character. First off, we're going to start with the Daggerfall Covenant characters. The first of the 3 Daggerfall races are the Breton. Breton have a strong affinity in the magical arts, with passives increasing max magicka and magicka resistance. Bretons also have a passive increasing alliance points gain, so they make a good magicka PvP character, but they are no slouch in PvE either. Next, we have the Red Guard. Red Guards are warriors hailing from the deserts of Hammerfell. They excel in physical damage and they have the best sustain of any race in the game. They have passives that increase max stamina, as well as passives that restore resources upon dealing damage, as well as reducing the cost of abilities. They make a strong character for stamina for both PvE and PvP. Orcs. Orcs are a force to be reckoned with. They are one of the strongest stamina races in the game for both PvP and PvE. They have passives that increase max stamina, health, and weapon damage. The health boost also allows you to have strong sustain in the in-game paired with proper food, like gold sustain food. On top of this, they have run speed bonuses, which is extremely strong in PvP, as well as inspiration bonuses for crafting, which, as we will discuss in a later video, crafting is very important, especially if you primarily play solo. Overall, Orc is a great first character due to their strength and versatility paired with their crafting inspiration bonus. Next, we will be discussing the races in the Aldmeri Dominion, my personal favorite. Altmer. The Altmer, also known as the High Elf, are a primarily magicka-based race. They have very similar passives to the Orc, with magicka and spell damage passives. They also take reduced damage whilst casting spells, making them great casters. On top of that, they have an overall experience gain boost of 1% and a Destruction Shaft skill line boost of 15%. Overall, the High Elf is a great choice for any sort of magicka build. Bosmer. The Bosmer, better known as the name of Wood Elf, make very strong stealth characters. They have strong stealth passives as well as max stamina and stamina recovery. I typically wouldn't say a race pairs perfectly with a specific class, as it's all in what build you want to go with. However, with their increased stealth detection radius and speed boost after a roll dodge, they make an incredibly strong stamina Nightblade. That being said, they can be played well in other classes as well, just food for thought. Khajiit. Khajiit are a race that's gone through a few reworks over the course of the game. However, at their current state, February 2020, they have passives that increase all 3 attributes as well as critical damage, which is very strong for PvP ganking, and depending on the state of the game at times, crit has been one of the strongest builds for stamina DPS as well. With Khajiit, you can be a magicka or stamina based character fairly well, however they don't necessarily excel at anything. They are a sort of jack of all trades of races. They can do everything, but they don't do anything perfectly. Finally, we will be discussing the races from the Ebonheart Pact. First, you have the Nord. If you have ever played the 5th installment of the Elder Scrolls games, you should be familiar with the Nord. They are a strong and prideful race hailing from the province of Skyrim. Nords have especially strong tanking passives, as well as a passive to increase ultimate generation, which is strong no matter what, be it PvE or PvP. However, it is extremely strong in PvP. The Nord's passives include increased stamina and max health, as well as increased cold resistance on top of physical and spell resistance. All in all, the Nord makes a great character for PvE tanking and an even strong PvP character due to his strong innate resistance characteristics. Dunmer. The Dunmer, or Dark Elves, are a race of The Dunmer, or Dark Elves, are a race of elves hailing from Morrowind. They are similar to the Khajiit in that they have passives that benefit both magicka and stamina setup. They don't necessarily excel at either, just like the Khajiit. However, attributes can change with ease in game, so you can play around with whatever you like. They also make a good hybrid build. They also have passives increasing flame resistance, making them a strong vampire, negating some of the extra flame damage you take once you become a vampire. They also have increased weapon and spell damage. Overall, the Dark Elf isn't the best race out there, but there are definitely some strong builds just waiting to be made. The last race that we're going to be talking about that is in the base game is the Argonian. They are part of the Ebonheart Pact. The Argonian has a historically weak class in ESO, but due to some recent reworks is now one of the best classes for tanking and healing due to their passives, giving them the ability to seriously increase their sustain. They might have the best sustain in the game at its current point. Argonians receive higher max magicka and health, as well as disease resistance and the ability to regain 4,000 of each attribute upon drinking a potion. They also have a 6% increase in healing done. The last race we're going to be talking about is the Imperial. The Imperial belongs to no faction, but they can only be unlocked by purchasing the Imperial Edition upgrade of the game. This edition of the game can be bought through the Crown Store. Imperials have a strong focus on max health and stamina, as well as decent sustain upon dealing direct damage. They also have decreased cost of abilities, including ultimates. Overall, Imperials are a strong PvP race. They can also make a good tank character, however, they're definitely better characters for that. This completes our overview of the races and the Elder Scrolls Online. Overall, we see that for tanking, Nord and Argonian are probably your best bet. Healing is best done with High Elf, Argonian, and Bretons. For DPS, it depends on whether you want to go stamina or magicka. Some other stronger stam builds include Orc, Redguard, Dark Elf, and Khajiit. And for magicka, you could run High Elf, Dark Elf, or Breton. As for PvP, there are definitely some strong races, but it isn't as cut and dry as PvE, as there are more diversity in your builds. For PvP, I recommend just choosing the character that suits your playstyle and the alliance that your friends play, if you don't have any race, any alliance. That's all for today. In my next video, I will be discussing which class you should choose, as that is a lot more impactful than the race you choose. See you next time. This has been Zane, and I hope you all have fun with your new ESO races.